This is your personal favorite, okay?
At the moment, yeah. That's this one is really something magical to me because I'm a huge fan, and I became a huge fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers. And this one is one of those guitars that you just hone it by some an addition of circumstances that would have never happened, but it happened. This one, to start off the guitar by itself, is a 1961 Gibson ES-335. And the color is a custom color which is called Argentine Gray, and that happened only between 59 and 61. So they made very few of those, and it was a terrible marketing success, and nobody really wanted that color back then. So I was talking about this one with Joe Bonamassa when I bought it, and I sent him the picture, and I think he said, and Joe has seen every guitar that has been created on this earth, and I think he played every guitar, but he said that he only seen just one like this, so with a dot neck and in an ES-335 finish, so you don't have like the 340. I've seen some ES-345 with the baritone here in Argentine Gray, but I've never seen in person a 335. So that's the only one I've seen so far. Apparently there are two. And to talk about the history, this guitar was owned by John Frusciante for 15 years or 16 years, between 1997, I think, and 2012.
Okay.
And a friend of mine was John's best friend in LA, and as you know, he used to trade guitars with John, and especially when John went back to the Peppers, he really wanted my friend's Great White Falcon, so eventually he went to his house, and my friend lent him the guitar for like 15 years, and he lent him as well this Gibson ES-335, and John was playing his solo recordings with that guitar, so he played that on stage, he played that to record some solo stuff, and this one was bought back by my friend in 2012, and I think when I went to deliver Matt Bellamy the Jeff Buckley guitar, I did a stop in New York City.
Yeah,
I'm always going to Rudy's music there because Rudy Pensa is one of the reasons I started playing music as well. And my friend was there, and I haven't seen him for ages. And he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he was buying a guitar from Rudy as well. And he said, Matt, I got some guitar from John. I got a guitar that I might sell. And that was this guitar.
Wow.
So it's just an addition of circumstances. The fact that I did a stop to New York City, delivering Matt Bellamy the guitar, and then the fact that my friend was not supposed to go there. And if all those things, if just one thing would have not happened, this guitar wouldn't have been able to reach the border and finish here, So that's really, really an amazing sounding guitar. It's the best hollow body guitar I ever played, personally. The pickups are amazing. Everything is original. That's really an amazing guitar. And if you feel it, the neck is quite thin.
It is, isn't it?
It's super easy to play, and it has a huge sound. It's amazing.
I played one of these for the first time at Rick's
Vintage
Guitars,
yeah.
And I was just blown away. I've always seen them and thought, well, they're too big, I'd never be able to play something like that, but it's surprising actually how they're really easy to play.
Yeah, they're easy, and
comfortable. And
the good thing about ES-335, I always call them the Swiss knife of electric guitar, because you can play jazz music, blues music, rock and roll music, even metal music. You can have a 335 on tour, and you're able to play with every musician you'll meet. So this
great
one
sounding.
is amazing.
Yeah, really gorgeous. Is it part of the chase for you as well that kind of appeals to you? Like when you hear that there's a guitar out there and you're like, I've got to get it.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you know, if you see a woman and you really want her.
Yeah.
It's like, I gotta somehow get it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to somehow get it, and you have to work your ass off to get it. It's this one. I think the negotiations were. I think it was like 6 months. It's negotiation for this one, just this one. Yeah. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, and it's always like this, you know. It's never too simple to get the best ones because, especially in the guitar world, I think the best ones are already researched by few people, and there are always few people on the list, and so you have to convince the owner to sell the guitar to you, and so that generally it's, you know, some alcohol helps, or you know, and with COVID it was much more harder, but on this one it was mainly it was just a matter of luck, actually.
So have you bought a guitar that was kind of like a real steal? You know, where you, like you say, a lot of people know about some of the guitars that you've bought, but have you ever found one that no one else sort of knew about?
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I got one coming, which is probably one of the most historic guitar ever that I found, and it was lost since 1968. And it was owned by, it's an ES-5, so it's a big Gibson hollow body, complete hollow body, and it was owned by T-Bone Walker. And so T-Bone Walker, for those who don't know, T-Bone Walker was the favorite guitar player of B.B. King, Albert King, Freddie King, Jimi Hendrix, one of the favorite of all the guitar heroes we all love. And T-Bone was the guy who started electric blues music with solo in it. And there is a huge song called Stormy Monday that even the Allman Brothers did a cover of it at the Fillmore East. So that's, you know, and he was playing one guitar. He had to start an ES-150. Then I don't know where it is now, but I think it's gone. He has he had this ES-5 that he was playing 20 years long, between 1949 and 1968. And then the Barney Kissel, that was a spare guitar, and that he was playing after the guitar was lost. And it was lost for like 50 years. And 2 years ago, I got a guy who comes here and he said, with a big Gibson case, and he's like, "Oh, I think I do have T-Bone Walker's guitar." And I'm like, okay, let's sit down. I opened the case, and it has an amazing flake top. I mean, it's very unusual for that particular model. Yeah. It's very unusual. And I open the case, I see the same repairs, and then I'm going to Google image and starting to compare what I call the wood grain, which is like the DNA of the guitar, the fingerprints. And I'm like, okay, this is it. And then T-Bone Walker's guitar was discovered like in this sofa. I opened the case on this sofa and I was like, wow. And then 2 years of negotiation, and I just closed the deal a week ago.
Congratulations.
So yeah, it's coming.
Wow, okay, Jesus. So how did this guy discover how did he get it?
I think he bought it in 2003 in Marseille, south of France. So I don't know how he went there, but somehow, you know, I think maybe... I don't know if the guitar was actually stolen or lost. That's a thing I'm going to check about. But it's here, and I'm proud to have found it, you know, and then honing it, and it's going to be shared with a lot of musicians, and it's such an important piece of history. So I didn't have a steal on it, but for sure it's going to be one of the best find of my guitar career, for sure. Yeah.
Have you told Joe Bonamassa that you've got it?
Joe already played it.
Has he?
Yeah, because when I had the guitar here to make sure it was the right one, he was playing in Paris.
Okay.
And so I brought him the guitar backstage, so he already played it. And he said, yeah, great find.
Brilliant. I can imagine he'd like that one. I've got my eye on that one over there, the Dylan one.
Oh, yeah.
That is such a beauty.
I
think Strats are probably my favourite. So this.
So you're going to hold this for me.
Look at this.
So yeah, that's a 1962 Strat. That's probably the best sounding Strat we do have here. And it was owned by Bob Dylan until 1992 or 1993. and that's a guitar that he had Fender repainted for him through his guitar tech, the legendary Cesar Diaz. Cesar, then he gave the guitar to Cesar Diaz, and then I think then Cesar sold it in the middle of 90s, and collectors, it went to Germany and then here.
So this wasn't originally
gold sparkle finish. I think it was sunburst.
I
checked the cavities and I think it was sunburst. You can still see some sunburst finish in the cavities and in the neck pocket. So for sure, we Dylan asked it because he was touring at the time and he wanted his musicians to the core theme back then was to have a silver sparkle and a gold sparkle instrument. So he had his musician repainting their instruments, and he had a silver sparkle Telecaster and a gold sparkle Strat. So that's the gold sparkle, and both were given to Cesar back then. And I think Cesar sold them both, but that's the one here. And it was super rare to repaint, actually even a vintage guitar in gold sparkle. Fender did it, but ecologically it's quite bad to the gold sparkle finish needs materials that are quite bad for the environment. Mm-hmm. So that's the very one, and we do have the invoice from Fender. Stating that it's actually quite funny, like for Bob Dylan, the serial number of the guitar, and then gold sparkle finish. So we do have that.
Oh my god!
So that's an amazing guitar, and it sounds brilliant. It's very powerful. Like everything is stuck here, and that's we had this one since 2017, and we never regretted the fact of having it.
I bet you haven't. So what's up next?
What's on
guys?
the
lineup? Let's have a look.
And big shout out to Antoine, who is giving me the guitar.
Yeah, exactly. There's not some sort of magic going on here. You've trained them to float in the air and land. Okay, so we're going from life in 6 strings to life in 4 strings.
Life in 4 strings.
Yeah.
Have you ever showed basses?
I've had a bass. I've had Jenny V on the show, so she's a bass player.
Of course, yeah.
So we have gone bass. So, but this is really special, isn't it? Yeah,
and it landed quite recently here. I did an auction in LA, and this showed up, and I'm a huge rock and roll music and blues music. I'm a huge fan of that now. So I really want to have like the genealogy and the guitar that belongs to the genealogy of blues and rock and roll music here. Yeah. And so that was one of the instruments that needed to be here in my opinion.
This is like the birth of rock and roll, isn't
exactly,
it?
Yeah. This very bass used to belong to Olsson Robinson, which was the bass player for Little Richard back then. And that's a 1956 EB1, which is quite... for back then, it's quite an unusual design, like the fake FO, because it's just painted over the mahogany.
It's fake.
That's fake, yeah. So that's a huge block of mahogany wood, and that guitar recorded all the Little Richard hits and all the Little Richard songs. And so if you check even the whole movies back then. Of Little Richard playing, that's the very bass the guy is using. So for us, it's just a matter of having them on display and having people, being able to play them. Yeah. So I'm not selling this one, but people are free to come over and play it.
So how old did you say this one was?
I think it's 1956.
Okay.
So it's quite old, It is,
it's
quite vintage, but it's amazing. It was used by the guy, then he sold it in the 90s, and we are feeling really blessed and lucky we're very thankful to have this instrument here. It's really a matter of having those guys here by their instrument, like T-Bone Walker's, Little Richard. Mm-hmm. We're always hunting for that kind of guitar.
It's surprising how good condition it is in, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think it stayed in the case after what the guy left Little Richard, and I think when he sold it, you know, it was he didn't sell it for the money, but he mainly sold it because he was getting older, and then it stayed in the case. It was in a collector's collection, and it was not played that much, but it's really being played here.
Who have you had play that when they've come in?
I think I played this one with French artists so far, you know, because with the COVID thing.
Yes, it's a bit harder, isn't it? No one's here. Yeah.
No one is coming, so but for sure, few big people have already drooled online. But,
they're like, can I play when I get here?
For sure, it's going to see some stage light at some point. Yeah.
Great, exciting. Have we got? Okay, we've got another bass coming.
We got one of the bass that I will never sell for sure.
Why is
this
that?
one? So this one, some people might have recognized it already on the video, but this one. So as I told you, I started playing music because of AC/DC, and when in 2017, Cliff Williams, so the bass player of AC/DC, officially retired before being back of the band, and then when he retired. He had a friend, we have a common friend in Nashville, and this guy called me up and he said, Matt, I got Cliff's, because he knows I'm a huge fan of AC/DC, and he said Cliff is selling 2 Music Man basses, and that he played with AC/DC for 40 years. So he bought, when he joined AC/DC, he had 2 Fender Precision bass, and then in 1976 he bought 5 very same Music Man Stingray. Because back then it was really a new way to have a bass. It was the first active bass. So you have actually a battery here, and so he bought 5 of those. He really liked the model, and Ernie Ball just launched a signature model of recreating basically Cliff's number 1. So we had 5 of them, and that's number 3. And this bass was honed and played live eventually by Cliff for 40 years with AC/DC. So everything you see on it is not me, of course. Yeah. It's not coming from me, but it's everything you see, everywhere that this bass has, even the 4 here, everything is coming from AC/DC stadium gigs.
Wow. Between
1977 and 2017. So for me it was amazing.
So there's kind of like a little round.
Yeah.
What is that? It's like
because it used to have brand new. They used to have a pick guard here.
Oh, okay. So he took it off.
Exactly.
Why did he take it off? Do you know?
I eventually know it's because the number 1 doesn't have a pick guard. And that's the spare of number 1, so it doesn't have a pick guard either. Right, but number 2 and 4 have the pick guard.
Okay.
So that's just a way to recognize them easier to him. So that's just it's quite heavy.
Is it?
But that's
yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's quite heavy. He's a strong guy for sure.
I mean, that's probably heavier than a Les Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit heavier. I think I'm going to talk in kilos, but that's like 4.8 kilos, and a Les Paul is generally between 3.8 and 4.2. So that's a bit heavier, but that's a bass, so that's what you expect. And it's funny because if you check even the using on the neck, you have here, and here. So that's G, A, C, and D, and that's AC/DC.
Oh my god.
That's only where he's playing, because he doesn't have to go here, because AC/DC is
it's
only
really,
those chords.
It's really warm there, isn't
it? Yeah. And if you check even the neck, and that for me, that was really, really a dream to even have one of those. I bought number 3 and 4.
Oh, did you as well?
Yeah.
And do you know if the strings are original strings?
Oh yeah, they're original. Yeah, that's the string Cliff played the last tour with AC/DC.
Jesus.
Yeah. Wow. That's really a piece for me that I will never sell. I know I will never sell that. So
fair enough.
That's very emotional for us, and that's also Sounding Talking, one of the best Music Man basses I tried.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Now you've got one more for me, haven't you?
I got the Holy Grail for you.
Holy Grail, exactly.
I got the early grey, and Antoine has a huge responsibility now. Okay,
drop it.
this one is coming from a legendary guitar player, but that's a legendary piece. So I let you hold it. You got the history.
I'm glad that we're on the sofa.
Is that the first
Yes.
one on the show? Actually,
that is, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah?
The Holy Grail. The first time I've ever held one. Yeah.
That's the first one live.
Wow. I've popped my Holy Grail cherry.
So that's a 1959 Gibson Les Paul. They all have, a lot of them have nicknames, and this one is called Spot.
So this was owned, by Bonamassa.
Yeah, of course. That was Joe's guitar. I think he used that one a lot in studio and on stage for 7 or 8 years, and then he decided to sell it at some point, and I was crazy about that guitar. I had a burst in my collection that I sold to get this one, and he was selling it in Nashville, in a shop in Nashville. But I texted Joe, I texted the shop owner, and I said, okay, I have to get this guitar. And Joe was really, really gentle and kind with me, because he knew I really was a huge fan of the guitar. So
Tell me about the pickups then.
So they're basically original PF. This one was added later by someone in the 70s, I think, because it was a double back PF back then. This one was original to the guitar, but this one was added, and it was a good addition, because this pickup is one of the best pickup I ever heard. This one is amazing too, and the guitar by itself is perfect in any way. The neck is perfect, the weight is perfect, the top is perfect. We call it Spot because this spot didn't fade by the time, so you still have some color of the original finish.
That's why he called it Spot.
Exactly.
So because what didn't fade under here?
Here actually you can see like
just
that reddish area.
Yeah. That shouldn't normally be like that.
Exactly.
Right. Got it.
For somehow I think
so it has a spot on it.
Exactly. That's why we call it Spot. And Joe really was really kind with me on that one. Like he's always, but especially on this one, the shop was really kind with me as well. And since I got that in early 2017, this guitar has seen so many hands and so many stage lights. Like I even have like a video of Mark Tremonti who is always playing PRS, but I have a video of him here playing it. Zach Myers from Shinedown. Who else can I say? Like so many guitar players.
I love it that all the metal heads are like itching to get their hands on
Les
Paul.
Yeah, exactly. And you should have seen Mark here, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I will never spend that kind of money for a burst, but this one is special, and it's really special." And every guitar player that played it on stage, really connected with it in some way.
So do you know how many owners this had before Joe?
I think all the best collector in the US for sure. There is one guy who is one of Joe's best friends, if not the best, called Charlie Daughtry, who is managing the Les Paul Forum. There is a guy in Long Island who is one of the biggest guitar collectors ever who owned it. I think a lot of people own that guitar, like maybe 7 or 8 people from what I can tell. But it's not a big number for like 62 years now. But this guitar is really something special, and I really cherish it. And yeah, until I did have to eventually to sell it this year, so it's going to a new home.
You're selling
shortly.
it?
Yeah,
No!
But the next one is coming too. So
okay.
So one is, if one comes in, one has to come out. So
it's like your child going off to university.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but I really made sure it was going to be played. So it's like Jeff Buckley's guitar. It's played every day. I know that for sure. So this one is going to be played every day.
Good. So how often do you play these guitars that are in here yourself?
Every day.
Every day you're picking them up.
Every day I'm here, and every day I play. And it's so good to be able to be surrounded by all those instruments, because they really give you something different. Every guitar is different, and from the mood you're having at each moment of your life, every guitar is giving you a different sound, and so it's always matching your day in a way.
Yeah.
So you can't spend a day without playing guitar.
I agree. Well, listen, Matt, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's just an absolute honor to be here and be surrounded by this magic. Thanks to you for coming. I'm so glad my English is a bit rusty, but it's great. You guys should come more often. The borders are open now. Yeah, exactly. Check out Matt's Guitar Shop. There we go. Thank you. Or showroom, should we say? Matt's Guitar Shop on Instagram for sure. Check it out. Brilliant. Thanks. Thank you very much, Kylie.